The mainstream media's relentless coverage of global warming has sparked intense debate and scrutiny in recent years. While some argue that the media's attention to this issue is necessary to raise awareness and prompt action, others contend that the media's narrative is overly sensationalized and driven by a hidden agenda to control the population. Upon closer examination, it becomes apparent that the mainstream media's fixation on global warming is indeed motivated by a desire to manipulate public opinion and shape the global agenda. One of the primary reasons the mainstream media seeks to control the narrative on global warming is to create a sense of urgency and panic among the public. By exaggerating the threat of climate change and predicting catastrophic consequences, the media creates a perception of crisis that can be leveraged to justify drastic measures and policy changes. This, in turn, allows governments and corporations to impose stringent regulations, taxes, and controls on individuals and businesses under the guise of saving the planet. The media's alarmist rhetoric has been particularly effective in convincing many people that the threat of global warming is imminent and that drastic action is necessary to prevent it. Another motive behind the mainstream media's global warming propaganda is to promote a specific ideological agenda. The media's narrative on climate change is often intertwined with left-leaning politics and anti-capitalist sentiments. By framing global warming as a crisis that can only be solved through collective action and government intervention, the media is able to promote a vision of a more socialist and controlled society. This agenda is reflected in the media's enthusiastic coverage of climate change conferences, treaties, and policy initiatives, which often advocate for radical transformations of the global economy and the redistribution of wealth. The mainstream media's control of the global warming narrative also serves to distract the public from more pressing issues and to suppress dissenting voices. By dominating the airwaves with climate change coverage, the media is able to divert attention away from other critical problems such as economic inequality, government corruption, and social injustice. Moreover, the media's demonization of climate change skeptics and deniers as science deniers or flat earthers has created a culture of intimidation and censorship, where anyone who questions the prevailing narrative is ostracized and marginalized. This suppression of dissent has been particularly effective in silencing alternative perspectives and stifling debate on the issue. Furthermore, the mainstream media's promotion of global warming propaganda has significant economic implications. The media's enthusiastic coverage of renewable energy and green technologies has created a lucrative market for companies investing in these sectors. The media's alarmist rhetoric has also driven demand for carbon credits and other financial instruments, which have become a booming industry in their own right. Additionally, governments and corporations have used the media's narrative to justify massive investments in climate change mitigation and adaptation projects, which have created new opportunities for crony capitalism and corruption. In conclusion, the mainstream media's coverage of global warming is not simply a matter of reporting the facts, but rather a concerted effort to shape public opinion and advance a specific agenda. By creating a sense of urgency and panic, promoting an ideological agenda, distracting from other issues, suppressing dissent, and driving economic interests, the media has become a powerful tool for controlling the narrative on global warming. As such, it is essential to approach the media's coverage of this issue with a critical eye, recognizing the motives and interests that underlie the propaganda, and seeking out alternative perspectives and sources of information to form a more nuanced and informed understanding of the issue.